And we're seeing voting rates among African Americans, Latinos, and young people going up because every election is about the future. And honestly, it's more about the future of young people and children than it's ever been.
All right, that was Hillary Clinton trying to fire up millennials. Bernie Sanders will join her on the trail today in New Hampshire. What will he tell his loyal followers to do? Let's discuss with CNN political commentator and former National Press Secretary for the Sanders campaign, Simone Sanders. She now supports Hillary Clinton. And Steve Olikara, he's co-founder and president of the Millennial Action Project. Great to have both of you here with us. Let me pull up some numbers of the latest polling about millennials so that I can show all the viewers where they are today. So this is a Quinnipiac poll, and it shows that since August, so from August to September, the millennial support for Hillary Clinton has dropped from 48% to 31%. It has ticked up a tad for Donald Trump from 24% to 26%. Gary Johnson is the big beneficiary here, 16% to 29%. Jill Stein getting 11% to 15%. Simone, why aren't millennials bonding with Hillary Clinton?
So, one, we have to remember that a lot of millennials are just now tuning in. So, in the last 1 to 2 months that you cited those polls, that's when they're just now tuning into this election. You know, they're not professional politicos like us that have been in this for well over a year. And 46% of millennials that are voting millennials identify as independents. So, they're not necessarily loyal to a party, and they don't like what they're seeing in this election. It's not, a lot of them don't like Secretary Clinton, even though her policies are the best for them, but it's really about they don't like the system. And so when you're...
So they think she represents the system?
I think well, when you look on television, when you look in the newspapers, a lot of times, up until recently, what we have heard as young millennial voters is that Donald Trump is a racist, he's a bigot, he's bad, and Hillary Clinton is saying, I'm better than the other guy. Millennials want to vote for something, not against someone else. Okay. And that is the message that they need to hear. And so what you have heard Secretary Clinton and her team do, especially over the last, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks, is talk more about the issues. Talk about millennials having families. Millennials aren't just college students. They have families.
I think we define them as 18 to 34,
yes,
35-year-olds.
That is an extremely wide range. And millennial voters, you know, they went hard for Bernie Sanders, not because they just loved who Bernie was. You know, Bernie was a white man from Vermont that many of them had never known before. But he was right on their issues. And whatever your issue was, Bernie Sanders was talking about it.
Stephen, what do you think the big issues are for millennials?
Well, I agree that we need to be talking about the issues, but the big issue that we haven't been talking about is how we can fix our political system, because the problem is the majority of millennials don't believe politics can solve the problems that we face. We have historic levels of disillusionment, and I think that's why you're seeing this level of distrust for both candidates. And I believe, despite Secretary Clinton having some proposals that are worthwhile on campaign finance reform, on how we reform the electoral process, she needs to be emphasizing those more. I wish that came up in the debate, but they didn't. Our generation needs to believe in not just an affirmative economic case, but also an affirmative political case for us to get involved in this election.
Bernie Sanders is going to hit the campaign trail with Hillary Clinton. And yesterday he spoke to our Manu Raju about what pitch he'll be making to millennials. So listen to this.
Well, I think when people throughout this country, not only younger people, understand that she has a proposal which is going to make public colleges and universities tuition-free for all families earning less than $125,000 a year. That is a big deal. And I think when people fully understand the contrast, the difference of opinion between her and Trump on climate change, where Trump thinks climate change is a hoax.
So, college and climate change, is that how you would define some of their big priorities, Simone?
Yeah, I think college, climate change, but also criminal justice reform. If you look at the polling and the data, young people across the board, white, black, Latino, Asian American, Native American, and otherwise, have cited that, you know, criminal justice reform is something that's important to them. Jobs are important to young people. So those are things that Secretary Clinton needs to be out there talking about. And her millennial team is out there doing a lot of that work, and they have to get off college campuses, and they know that now, and they're out there doing, I saw some happy hours at the Clinton campaigns out there doing, and because there are folks that are voting that are not on college campuses.
Stephen, you know, I know that you said that they don't like the establishment, and you can see that reflected in Gary Johnson's numbers. He's getting 29% right now. But is there an understanding that at the moment, a vote for Gary Johnson would help to elect Donald Trump. The support that they're giving him is being bled from Hillary Clinton.
Yes, a lot of people are talking about that, and I understand both, Secretary Clinton's campaign in particular is trying to advance that narrative. But if you look at the polling, in a four-way race, Governor Johnson and Jill Stein are drawing equally from both Donald Trump and Secretary Clinton. And, I'm not endorsing Governor Johnson, but I believe it's important for our generation to vote for people that we believe in. And I don't buy into the narrative that a vote for a third party is a vote against Secretary Clinton, because guess what? The Donald Trump campaign is saying the same exact thing for their supporters.
I have to respectfully disagree with Stephen on the point that Gary Johnson is representative of what millennials care about. If you look at the Republican Party platform, the Libertarian platform, and compare it, it's not it is crazy. The Democratic platform is extremely more progressive, and that's the platform that lines up best with millennials.
We will listen to what Bernie Sanders has to say this week on the trail. Simone, Stephen, thank you very much for being here.